Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an aspect of the race we might look at later as having been a path to finding the winner. Well, Saturday racing this week with Christmas on Sunday, and the first race I'm going to look at Sha Tin is race 4, where our winning factor is the Dream Team. Now this is a relatively plain Class 4 over 1400 metres, and I think the main chances here look to be Leather Vanguard for Luke Curry, Proud Dragon and Red Titan, who both had no luck with wide trips last start, and Infinite Power in a race where the draw is in favour of him retaking his usual and successful front-running tactics. But I do think that most punters are going to land on Red Titan as the horse to beat here. Ridden by Zac Purton, trained by John Size, and he's had no luck at all in 2 starts since dropping down to Class 4, and here is the latest of those. This is race 233, it's International Day, and from gate 9 in dark blue colours here, Red Titan begins well enough, but is beaten for pace by several runners inside and outside him, and in what is a genuine speed, not mad but not slow, Red Titan ends up being stuck 3 wide facing the breeze for pretty much all of the way. And there's no advantage in that. But in the home straight, well, he certainly applies himself manfully, fights off a couple of finishes and stays on for third in the final stages. Now, in what I've already said is a fairly average company, I think that's a good enough performance to make him a standout on form in this race, but once again, when we take a look at the map, it doesn't look pretty. Red Titan, again drawn out, and the pace even shapes up to be something somewhat similar with the regular leader Infinite Power drawn to take that role on the inside, and a few others both inside and outside of Red Titan looking to race handy. So in terms of the map, he has no advantages, but we'll be relying largely on Zac Purton's ability to solve the puzzle and get Red Titan into a winnable position. And that's something that 11-time champion trainer John Size is taking more notice of in recent times as well. When you take a look at this graphic, it gives you the last 5 full seasons of history between Size and Purton. And it might not seem much of a revelation that Purton is riding winners and Size is training winners, but you can see here that the reality is they've never really been a significant pairing before now. In fact, Purton's 15 winners for Size in the current season, which is less than a third completed, is already the best season they've had together, and almost a quarter of their wins together lifetime in the 15 years that Purton has been riding in Hong Kong. And it isn't any accident, I don't think, that Purton is on track to have more rides for Size this year than in any previous season. Now, the original Hong Kong Dream Team was Douglas White and Size. Dream Team 2.0 was João Moreira and Size. And now we have a third version of what could prove an unstoppable combination this season. So the tip for me in race 4 is Red Titan. His winning factor, the Dream Team. Now, just in terms of form, if he'd drawn a good barrier, Red Titan would look the best of good things in this race. The job's been made a little bit more difficult on the map. However, I do think that this powerful combination with Zac Purton's ability to solve the tactical side of a race is still able to deliver. The other race I'm looking at is race 10, where our winning factor is the tempo. Now, we finished the day with a Class 2 here, and a pretty good Class 2 with plenty of relevance as we look forward to the 4-year-old Classic Series in the early part of 2023, kicking off with the Classic Mile on January 29. And while there might be cases in this race made for a couple of other runners, I think the overwhelming focus is going to be on the 4-year-olds. Keefe from the Frankie Law Yard, Zac Purton's ride Beautyverse, and Francis Lloyd trained Packing Treadmill. Now, all 3 of them last ran on November 27 in 2 different races, but we're going to take a look first at the defeat of Beautyverse behind Keefe in the feature race that day, and this is race number 202. Keefe's in white colours, gate 3, Beautyverse next to him in the familiar black and pink beauty colours. Now, one of the leaders in the race in blue, all for St Paul's, messes up the start here, which is significant, while Keefe bounces out sharply and Purton rides Beautyverse along out of the gates to push forward. And as you can see here, Beautyverse overreacts to that, throwing his head about and then wrestling with Purton, despite the above average tempo we can see on the heat map. Eventually, Purton has to let him run and go up to the leader early after wasting that valuable energy, while Keefe remains relaxed and correct, and that tells in the stretch. Keefe comes off the back of Beautyverse and just runs straight past him. So that was one of our key lead-ups to this race on Saturday. The other came 90 minutes later, and that was the win of Packing Treadmill as he made a successful entry into Class 2. This is race 205. He's in blue and white colours with a pink cap from an outside gate here. And Purton on Packing Treadmill works forward in a race without a whole lot of pressure in the first half, which is just as well because he's forced to cover a bit of extra ground, Packing Treadmill being 3 wide for a period before getting up outside of the leader, just as the front runners started to sprint. Now, when Purton goes for him again in the straight, there is still more there despite the extra work, and he comes away and wins well. So to finish off like that, after doing a little bit of work over the 1400 metres, it certainly points well to the chances of Packing Treadmill handling the 1600 metres this time. But in terms of the map, well, I think he and Beautyverse are going to have the edge on Keefe. Now, we saw Keefe win well that time, but this time he's got a wide gate, a big weight, and I think the map has been a bit kinder to his rivals with the lighter weights. But for me, the key issue here is the likelihood of a strong gallop. Now, I mentioned that All for St Paul's, a regulation leader, missed the start in the race behind Keefe, which was led by The Rock at a solid tempo. Now, both of those leaders are here this time. And assuming All for St Paul's gets it right this time, which is more in keeping with his history, there may be 2 horses looking to lead at a good tempo and running each other along in at least a genuine gallop, possibly better than that. Packing Treadmill, he can use that tactical speed we saw there to get behind and trail them, but I won't be surprised to see a change of tactics from Beautyverse here. Now, in Australia, he was a very impressive run-on horse. He managed to win his Hong Kong debut pushing forward early from a wide draw, but as we saw last time, it might not totally suit him. It might not be the way to ride him. The guaranteed tempo here, I think, might allow Purton to adopt different tactics early and get him more relaxed. So the tip in race 10, Beautyverse. His winning factor, the tempo. I don't think that ridden as he was last start or the start before is going to be ideal for Beautyverse here, but I think this time we might see him revert to the kind of tactics he used in Australia. Purton can switch him off, relax him, and use him at the finish. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck on Saturday. All the best for Christmas. We'll see you next time.